So initially, I wanted to make a video about some of the things that I experience regularly in our society that just frustrate me or that I supposedly don't understand, especially as an autistic person. But after sitting with these thoughts for a while, I realized that the problem isn't that I don't understand society. The problem is that understanding it doesn't make it livable for me. Autism isn't the reason I don't understand how things work. It's the reason I can't lie to myself about what I'm seeing. It's a refusal to emotionally anesthetize yourself to a system that is clearly broken and to shut up because people around you are. And that's a very hard thing to live with, especially right now when there's one tragedy after another and you don't even like seriously, it's hard to even keep up at this point. And I just keep wondering if there are other people, autistic or not, and I'm sure there are, who feel this constant background weight as well, where you're being forced to participate in a system you know is destroying the planet and its people out of greed and corruption. And you're just left watching it all, carrying that awareness without having any clear solution or even a language for what change would realistically look like anymore. And at the same time, you're surrounded by people who seem perfectly fine. Your friends, your family, people you care about. Some dismiss all of these things outright, and others may acknowledge them briefly and but then move on, as if nothing is happening and nothing is really progressing. And when you keep bringing it up, you're the weird one, right? You're the difficult one. And I'm almost impressed by that ability to not be aware of the injustice happening everywhere, or maybe to be aware but unaffected as long as your own immediate needs are being met. I don't understand how people aren't furious or collapsing at this point under the constant anxiety of having to comply with a fundamentally corrupt system. A system where your entire life is effectively mapped out from birth, and we still tell each other that if we work just hard enough, harder than everyone else, we'll somehow escape it. And that belief alone keeps a lot of things in place. The individual struggle for change, which will largely stay fruitless. And so instead, we're taught something simpler: don't question, comply. But I don't know about you, but I feel that questioning authority should be absolutely normal. And interestingly, it's often associated with autism as well, a preference for logic, fairness, and autonomy over rigid hierarchies, which to me feels almost absurd to even point out, because shouldn't that be the baseline? Doesn't that sound just completely normal, I guess? Yet for a lot of people, obedience is confused with morality, or it is thought to be the same, I guess. Following rules is treated as inherently good, and questioning them as dangerous or immature. Especially social rules and traditions and stuff like that, not just laws, both of which can be changed anytime, and then that's the new norm. But until it's changed, people will argue tooth and nail that it can't be changed and that it always was this way and it will always be that way, which is just not true. As if systems themselves are neutral and only individuals can be flawed. But this is exactly another example of how we have lost all sense of community, and it's turned into an individual struggle against all for each member of society. And this is where something like the shopping cart theory becomes very interesting to me. I'm going to explain that to you briefly. Returning a shopping cart is easy. It's objectively the right thing to do, right? There's no reward for it. There's also no punishment if you don't. No law, no threat, no one's watching or nobody would say anything, right? You do it purely because you believe it's correct. And when you don't, when the carts are abandoned, blocking the exit of the store and just like scattered across the parking lot, to me it's a visible reminder of how many people currently only do the right thing when someone or something is forcing them to. And someone may say, it's just shopping carts, what's the big deal? But it shows the moral baseline society operates on. And if we can't cooperate on something that simple and that easy, it raises uncomfortable questions about everything else we expect collective responsibility for. Still, though, I don't think this is about blaming individuals, because the deeper issue is always systemic. We reward the wrong things, right? Compliance, output, performance, not character, not morals, not integrity, or how you treat others. What matters is how well you function inside the structure, how productive you are, how little friction you create, or how effectively you are willing to create friction and opportunities for yourself to get ahead once you gained power over others. How willing you are to step onto others to elevate yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's another thing. So much of becoming successful, I'm doing quotations, in this world is based on gaining power over others. And that just does not excite or motivate me in the slightest. I want autonomy and cooperation, not competition. But it's always just about competing ultimately, right? Surviving. And that's what we get trained for from the start. And the reason things don't change is because most people are stuck surviving instead of thinking, inventing, or striving. The few who break out of survival mode either spend their lives preventing the absolute worst, or they become the very things they once tried to fight because now they benefit from the system as it is.